All right, we're just waiting for a couple stuff, guys, and here we go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the 2021 NFL Mock Draft. I am your host, Juan Rodriguez. People usually call me JR, good old JR. Whatever. I'm all for it. So here we go. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Hopefully, everybody had a good Monday. Back to the grind. I hope everybody's enjoying it. We are 1 week away from the NFL draft, and I am as excited as anybody. So, yes, what you are seeing is we are doing the episodes for the Titans, the Jets, the Steelers, and the Jaguars. The reason for that being, last time you guys saw me was Thursday, and remember it was that was officially my birthday. And sure enough, Friday it was a weekend celebration for me. It was my 30th, and everybody just wanted to celebrate with me. So I said, all right, I can hold off until Monday to do these shows. So I want to thank everybody that wished me well on my birthday. I want to thank everybody that that came and celebrated with me. It was a lot of fun. I know I even had a couple of people tell me, hey, you doing the videos? And like I explained to them that I'm explaining to you guys. No, because I had my birthday and everybody just kind of wanted to celebrate. So I held off until Monday. But the good news is you guys get 4 draft picks in a row. And then we'll go back to normal. And then like I said, we're 1 week out. Not this Thursday, next Thursday. It is draft day, and hopefully everybody's excited for that. I know I am. And it's going to be fun. I'm excited. This is the type of week where you just get excited because this is it. There's no going back. It kind of looks like everything's about to fall in place. And before you know it, it's draft day. Everybody's excited for the hope of their team, for their future. And like I said, it's always an exciting time of year. So let's just get right into it. We have first team up on the clock. We have the Tennessee Titans. They hold the number 22 pick. So the Titans draft class last year. Not a lot of players, but they were hopeful that they could come in and make an impact and to some degree. So first round pick 29. Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle out of Georgia. We'll get to him a little bit later. His story is really messed up. Second round pick 61, Christian Fulton, corner out of LSU. He had first round grade. It's just he fell straight all the way to the Titans, to the bottom of the second. That's how crazy the draft is, where you have first round talent, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Third round pick 93, Darrington Evans, running back out of Appalachia State. Back up to Derrick Henry. Pretty good change of pace back. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, but overall nice change pace of back for the Titans offense. Fifth round, Larrell Murchison, defensive tackle out of North Carolina State. Good little rotational player, depth, and sometimes even special teams. That's about it. You have seventh round, 224, Cole McDonald, the quarterback out of Hawaii. Everybody kind of loved him last year. He went in the seventh round because that's just where he was meant to fall. And who knows, maybe he's got something that we don't know. But after Marcus left, it was kind of, they needed a backup, and Cole McDonald was the backup. So that's it. And then last but not least, seventh round again, pick 243. They had Chris Jackson, defensive back out of Marshall. Special teams ace, rotational guy, sometimes inactive. That's what you get with the seventh rounders, man. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. But good thing is your franchise doesn't fold on a seventh rounder. So it folds on a first rounder. And like I said, we'll get back to Isaiah Wilson in a minute. So the Tennessee Titans had a great year. I mean, they had an amazing year. 11-5, first they won the AFC South. They were fourth on offense and 24th on defense. And everybody, the O-line and Derrick Henry deserve most of that because Derrick Henry rushed for 2,000 yards, my MVP of 2020. It's very rare you get to see a 2,000-yard rusher, especially in the day of age where it's all about the passing game. So for a running back to get 2,000 yards, last year I thought Christian McCaffrey should have gotten it when it's 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing. You don't see that. And then when you have Derrick Henry rushing for 2,000, you would think that should be MVP consideration. But, voters just like to keep up with the times, and it's all about the passing game, and these voters are getting younger. They don't love the running backs. They don't love everything about football. That's what I'm getting out of these MVP voters. So my MVP choice was Derrick Henry. That's who I gave my vote to. So, but like I said, fourth on offense, 24th on defense, 11-5, first in the AFC South. They lost to Baltimore in a wild card matchup. It was kind of a heated matchup. Like that's beginning to turn into a pretty good little game. A couple of years ago, Derrick Henry did the whole stiff arm with, with Earl Thomas making him look like an extra blocker. This year, Baltimore got the better of Tennessee, and it just seems like these two teams. I don't know what happened. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like they do not like each other. They do not. It is crazy to think that these two teams who have there's no geographical layout. They're not in the same division. They're separated by thousands of miles. And for some weird reason, it just seems Baltimore and Tennessee, it's like the early 2000s again, where Eddie George versus Ray Lewis. And, it feels like that again. So I don't know what happened, but they lost to Baltimore. Really close game, 2013. It was a really good football game, really good football game. But that was just kind of the end of the season. Really, the defense just couldn't match up with the offense. It showed, as you can see, fourth on offense, that's pretty good, and then 24th on defense. I mean, what are you going to do? That was just the beginning of their troubles. Arthur Smith, the former offensive coordinator, is now the head coach of Atlanta. So that was a big loss. So we're going to see how I think that's more of a hit to the offensive line and Derrick Henry, because I think Arthur Smith is really one of those guys who's still one of the last football coaches to implement the run in a heavy package run scheme. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. Good luck to him in Atlanta. And then free agency just got a whole lot worse for them, though. They lost Jonas Smith to the Patriots, Adoree Jackson to the Giants, Corey Davis went to the Jets, Jadeveon Clowney went to the Browns, Malcolm Butler went to the Cardinals, Desmond King went to Houston, Anna Humphries is now in Washington, Matt Dickerson is now in Las Vegas, Jamil Douglas is now with the Bills, and then Chris Milton is now with the Giants. So really, the starters that they had on defense, they kind of upped and left. But that wasn't going to scare them off. They did get some good reinforcements back, and I thought it was really good reinforcements on the part of Tennessee. Their biggest free agent prize was Bud Dupree. Excuse me. It was Bud Dupree, the linebacker out of Pittsburgh. That was a great solid pickup. Danico Autry, the defensive end out of Indy, he's now joining them. Janoris Jenkins, corner out of New Orleans, and then Kevin Johnson, former first rounder from Houston, went to Cleveland, is now coming to Tennessee. Kendall Lamb, offensive tackle from the Browns, is coming as well. Josh Reynolds, from Tennessee is coming, from the Rams, is going to play in Tennessee now. Mathis Farley, the safety out of Jets, and then Olusokanami Adenai, linebacker out of Pitt, he's coming. So really, the Titans did try to fix their defensive problems. They did have a lot of defensive problems, but the offense, I believe, is still going to be fine. They still have good players, and then on top of that, this is where Isaiah Wilson comes in. He was supposed to be a key piece to this offense. It just never worked out for whatever reason. Whether it was football wasn't in his game, he didn't want to be a Titan for whatever reason. It didn't work out. He gets traded to Miami. He gets traded to Miami for like a 5th and a 6th rounder, something crazy like that. He then goes to Miami a few weeks. I might be even generous. It might have been a few days later. Isaiah Wilson gets cut from the Dolphins, and that's kind of it. He went from first rounder to out of the league in less than a year. Like, think about that. Like, he was pick number 29, got traded, now cut out of the league, and we don't know what his future holds. Will he come back? Maybe. It looks like he's the kind of guy that, hey, maybe he needs to clear his head first before he can get back in the game. But overall, it's just that's what it was. It's just whether his heart wasn't in it, he didn't want to play, or maybe he just was dealing with stuff. We don't know. I just, as a man, as a human being, I wish him the best. I wish him health. I hope he gets his conscience cleared, and hopefully he finds a good path in life. I know about being young, it's a little scary in the real world sometimes, but hopefully that young man can, find his health, find a clear conscience, and, maybe somebody can help him clear his head. So, but like I said, the problem was the defense for the Tennessee Titans. Bud Dupree, Danico Autry, Janoris Jenkins, Kevin Johnson, and Mathis Fairley. That is a good way to revamp this defense, especially with others leaving. But if you're Tennessee, obviously you still need a lot of help on defense, which is okay. You got Evans, you got I forget his name, Hardy, from Boston College. Rashad Evans is there. Now you got Bud Dupree. Danico's going to be there. I think it was Jeffrey Simmons just a while ago. He's there. So what do the Titans really need? Well, the thing with the Titans is they run a 3-4. And what it is, they really don't have a big guy in the middle. They got some guys, but really they're starting right now because they don't have anything better at this point in time. So really what it is because they run the 3-4 and because it's one of those things where anybody can run the 3-4, but you need the right lineman. And I think with this class of defensive linemen, the defensive tackle class at least, it is, I want to say it's the worst. It's just not as talented as previous years. There's only probably one guy etched in the first round, and as you can tell, that's where I'm going to go. They need a nose tackle. They need a big guy in the middle, and they need somebody that can plug up the middle, and they can make every other free agency signing and everybody that's already there, like Harold, Rashad Evans, Bud Dupree. They can make everything easier. So I think let me see, what pick are these guys? 22. With the 22nd pick in the NFL, in the 2021 NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans select Christian Barmore, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. Look, 6'5", 310-pound, national champion in 2020, defensive MVP in the 2020 championship game, first team All ACC in 2020. Look, this guy, his resume is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Only a 2-year starter, though. 2-year starter. 2019, 26 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass deflections. So really not, a lot of productivity, but he showed promise. 2020 is where his stats kind of helped him elevate, being one that is such a bad, kind of mediocre defensive tackle class. And who knows? Maybe this would be the best defensive tackle draft class when it's all said and done. It's just right now, we're just drafting enough potential right now. And right now, Christian Barmore is the best defensive tackle in the draft this year. And then his senior year, 2020, 37 tackles, 8 sacks, 3 forced fumble, 3 pass deflections. So this is where it kind of helped him elevate to where, hey, if you need a big guy, if you run a 3-4 and you need a big plug nose tackle, this is the guy to do it. So I don't really think that, Tennessee has a lot of needs. I think they can always address offensive linemen later. They can get a wide receiver later. They can get a tight end maybe down the road, to replace Jonas Smith. Really what it is right now, it's just that defense. That defense just needs to kind of match that offense. Obviously, that offense might take a little bit of a dip due to some free agents that did leave. But if they can just be somewhere in the middle where they can still control the clock with the running game of Derrick Henry, and they can get a little better on defense, then who knows how far this team can go. These are the teams that, hey, man, maybe they're just a piece away to really put it all together. And I think you put Christian Barmore here in Tennessee. You plug him in day one. He's gonna have some trouble, because obviously he's one of those players. It seems like he gets off to a slow start and then he gets better as the time goes on. And I think if you put him in the 3-4 with Tennessee, I think he will do great with the Tennessee Titans. So I got Christian Barmore, defensive tackle, Alabama, um, going to Tennessee. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like it, love it, hate the pick, love the pick. Let me know. I'm all for it. So moving on to the next pick, the Jets are on the clock again. They got the first round trade. I mean, they got the other first round pick because of the Jamal Adams trade. So I already did a video on the Jets, so I'm not really going to take much time with them. Although pick number 2, I did have them going wide receiver because Sam Darnold was there. That is not the case anymore. Sam Darnold is now Panther. So we know what the Jets are going to do, and we're going to do a redraft on the next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is going to be my first and final mock draft for everybody. So if anything, I'm trying to make it into a fun show. So I'm going to start seeing maybe you guys want to show up, and maybe we can all just do it all together. But like I said, it's all going to be fun. But I need to find 4 super duper fans. So if you guys are out there and you love NFL mock drafts, text me, call me, message me. I want to try to set something up for fun. So here we go. So like I said, Sam Darnold got traded to the Panthers, so he's now in Carolina. I don't know how that's going to shape up with Teddy Bridgewater, but we all know that now the Jets are going to go quarterback too, which is now it's understandable. I think, though, if they're going to do this right, they need to redo and not mess up with Sam Darnold, and I think that's starting with getting him a line. Sure, they need a running back. Wide receivers are going to be okay. It's just right now, I think Tevin Coleman right now is a serviceable back to where he can kind of carry the load and maybe you can get a running back later. Wide receivers are kind of set up already. But I think for me right now, if it were up to me right now, with the 23rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Wyatt Davis, the offensive guard out of Ohio State. 6'4", 350 pounds. When you look at him, he's a guy who you look at him and the way he moves and the way he plays, you can pencil him as a starter for the next 10 to 12 years. He's just that talented. He's just that good. And 2020 and 2019 were big years for him. The Remington Pace Offensive Lineman of the Year, that is given to the best offensive lineman in the Big Ten, unanimous All-American in 2020, consensus All-American in 2019, and 2-time first-team All-Big Ten in 2019-2020. This guy is a stud. Now, I know 23, you're trying to look for the best BPA. And for the Jets, yeah, it could be running back. It could be wide receiver. It could be tight end. Who knows? But I think really what we're looking for is Robert Saleh is going to make that defense better. But they need to do what the Jets need to do to everything they can to protect Zach Wilson so they don't have another Sam Darnold experiment. You already got your left tackle, Mickey Becton, and when he's healthy, he looks like an aggressor. Now get yourself a guard. It could be tackle here. Again, for me, it has to be offensive lineman. You need to protect Zach Wilson. If you're going to draft a number 2, the Jets have to be smart. And I know that sounds kind of funny to people out there listening. Like, there's some franchises like smart and some franchises in the NFL do not go together. And I know that's the Jets, but the Jets need to do the right thing and protect Zach Wilson at all costs. So for me, like I said, I already gave my video about the Jets. I'm not going to go into it that much, but here for pick 23, now that we know that it's going to be quarterback at 2, you got to go offensive lineman here at 23. And I think Wyatt Davis, I was having such a hard time, would be a good fit for the New York Jets. So here we go, Pittsburgh at pick 24. There's a lot to talk about this team. I mean, there is a lot to talk about this team. This team was one of the wildest roller coasters of all. of all of them. The Pittsburgh Steelers were. So let's start with their 2020 draft picks. They didn't have a first rounder due to the Minka Fitzpatrick trade, which it seems it worked out perfectly. But they did have a second rounder, 49, Chase Claypool, wide receiver in Notre Dame. Again, the Steelers are a team that just seems like, man, they draft wide receivers and they become superstars right away. I don't know how. That's just how they do it. No, there's no hating here. It's just what it is. Third round, pick 102, Alex Highsmith, the linebacker out of Charlotte. Good depth, good rotational situation, and very good speed demon on the special teams. Fourth round, 124, Anthony McFarland, running back out of Maryland. He is a solid change of pace back. He is going to be one of those. He can run and he can catch. Pass blocking is kind of where he kind of has a little trouble with, but other than that, I think it's amazing what he does there. So that was a good pickup. And then Kevin Dotson, the guard out of Louisiana, he even started a couple games due to injuries on the offensive line, and it looks like he was another solid pickup in the fourth round. Sixth round, 198, Antoine Brooks, safety out of Maryland, speed demon, special ace, special teams ace. That's all you can ask for. And then Carl Davis, the defensive lineman out of Auburn. It is what it is. I mean, you sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. He was one of those kids that high reward, low risk, high reward type of deals. You take him in the seventh, your franchise isn't going to fold on a seventh rounder. So it's kind of amazing to me what happened to the Steelers. They ended up 12-4. You would think overall 16 games, 12-4, not bad. But the last month of football, they went 1-3. Let's see, we have a comment here by Max. I think Justin Fields could fall to us. Maybe. You know what, Max? That is a good point. It's there. It's there, Max. I mean, I don't know. I do not know. It's just Justin Fields is one of those players where it's going to be interesting to see where he can fall. But I liked it. And we'll see if it does work out for him on draft day. So we'll see. Thanks, Max. But it was very weird. The Steelers started 11-0, and then in the month of December they went 1-3, and that's how they ended up 12-4. But they still won the AFC North. And look, this team, for the first 11 games they played, they looked like they could take on anybody. They were 12th on offense, third on defense overall. That was a solid Pittsburgh Steelers football team. I mean, it was great. They won the division. Baltimore was right there, but they managed to get away last week of the season. However, I don't know what that game was called. I don't know what happened in that wild card game against the Browns. From the first snap to the end, the Browns just own the Steelers. And that happens sometimes, especially division games. That happens sometimes. It hurts. It always hurts when you lose to your division rivals. But when you lose to your division rivals even in the playoffs, that hurts even worse. That's kind of like a gut check that, it does hurt a lot. But they were, like I said, they were 12-4, one of the better teams of the NFL. They won the division. They just lost in the wild card to the Browns. And it was just all bad from there. And then the free agency, they kind of had their own tough ways too. But Dupree, as we mentioned, he went to Tennessee. Mike Hilton is now in Cincinnati. Matt Feller is now with the Chargers. James Conner, the leading rusher, is now in Arizona. Sean Davis, the safety, is now in Indianapolis. And Adeni is now in Tennessee as well. But they did have a good little pickup with the Steelers in free agency. They did get some good players. They re-signed. It was mostly in-house guys. Juju, he's back. Tyson Alualu, he's back. Cases Marsh, he's back. Jordan Perry, the punter, he's back. And then you got Vince Williams, Joshua Dobbs, they're back as well. So, hey. And then, they added some pieces as well. Joe Haig, the tackle from Tampa Bay, he's coming to town. He just got off a Super Bowl win, so maybe he can bring something. And then they also bring back Chris Wormley, Miles Kilbrew, the safety out of Detroit. He's coming back. BJ Feeney, the center out of Cincinnati. He's going to take the center spot now, and we'll explain that in a bit. Rashad Coward, the guard from Chicago, he's coming. Kalen Ballage, another running back, he's coming. This is going to be his third team in like 2 years. He just really hasn't found the right fit for him. Tyler Simmons, the wide receiver out of Houston, he's coming. And yeah, so what hurt most, though, in free agency was Pouncey retired. Pouncey has been there for a long time, 11 seasons to be a matter of fact. And that was a wake-up call, like, man, that was kind of it. And then Alejandro Villanueva, he's a free agent out there still. I think he can't come back to the Steelers for the right price. I think it's just going to be a matter if he wants to come back. And then Vance McDonald, he retired. So they did take a little bit of a hit of free agency. But that wasn't even the key issue there. The key issue there was, in all my life and watching football, there's a lot of things I always hear. Dumpster fire franchises, Tom Brady's a guaranteed spot in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of things where it's like, oh, it was bound to happen, and it's only weird if it doesn't happen. Well, this is one of those years. I've never in my life have seen the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers for all my life, from kid to now, has been great defense, great running game. I don't know when was the last time I ever saw the Pittsburgh Steelers be dead last teams as far as rushing. They were one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL. They were the worst rushing team in the NFL. And that kind of took me aback because I was kind of thinking, well, what is this? I've never heard Pittsburgh dead last in rushing all my life, from Jerome Bettis, Marshall, Le'Veon Bell. It always seems like they always had running backs ready to go when the primary one left. So this is one of those weird times where I just never saw. I couldn't believe my eyes. The Pittsburgh Steelers were the worst rushing team in the NFL. So there is holes to fill. Yes, again, they could go tackle. But again, they could go offensive lineman. But again, this is a deep class. They can fix that. They can fix that later. There's going to be linemen down the road that I'm pretty sure the Steelers can pick up. How many years does Big Ben have? I don't know. There's times he looked great, and then there's times he looked, well, he's just getting old, and it happens. I think in this case, we all know what's going to happen. I don't know if they have their quarterback in their roster, but the quarterback that's available, do you kind of want to just take a flyer on him for a year and be like, hey, you know what, Ben? We already know what we can do when you're not there, and that's not win a lot. But when you're there, at least we have a shot. I think it's very easy to go offensive lineman. It's very easy to go quarterback to find the future. However, I think you want to try to give – because whether he goes down or not, does a rookie have a shot if you give him the same running game with even worse offensive line options? I don't think so. So I'm not going to go quarterback here. I'm not going to go quarterback for the Steelers this draft. But maybe next Tuesday, we'll see how it plays out. So here we go. With the 24th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama. Look, there's no simple way to put this. They were dead last in rushing. What's the worst happens if you can get a running back who I believe is better? Because you got to understand, when he came in as a freshman, he was behind Damian Harris, Bo Scarborough, Josh Jacobs. Sophomore year, He was behind Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs. He didn't become a starter until his junior year. And in my opinion, he's better than all those guys. Yes, I know I'm wearing the Raiders emblem. I know I'm wearing the Raider symbol, and I know Josh Jacobs is on the Raiders, but I think today Najee Harris is better than all four of them, in my opinion. I think he's better than all four. I think what it was, he just got caught up in the depth of the chart, and he stuck around. And look, 2020 was an amazing year for him. Doak Walker Award, and unanimous All American. First team All SEC in 2020, second team All SEC in 2019, two-time national champion, two-time SEC champion. He was the championship MVP in this championship game for 2020. Not Mac Jones, not Devontae Smith, not Jalen Waddle, none of those guys. It was Najee Harris. And like I said, in his freshman year, he was fourth string running back. But in the 14 games that he did play, 370 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 6 receptions, 45 yards. His sophomore year, he moved up, but he was still behind Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs because Bo Scarborough went to the NFL. 15 games. He played in 15 games that year. 783 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, 4 receptions, only 7 yards. In his junior year, that's when he became the starter. This was it. This is when Najee had his moment to show the world that he was a capable starter. Because at that point, he was just looked at as, well, if he's that good, why didn't he get over why didn't he pass over depth of their other guys? Because the other guys were pretty damn good too. Damian Harris, Bo Scarborough, and Josh Jacobs at Alabama were no jokes. They were no joke. But his first year as a starter, 1,224 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, 27 receptions, 304 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's a great way to show you are a starter. At that point, he could have left and maybe late first, early third. He decided, you know what? I'm going to come back my senior year, and I'm going to try to improve my draft stock. Senior year, 1,466 rushing yards, 26 rushing touchdowns. That's right, you heard me. 26 rushing touchdowns, 43 receptions, 425 yards, 4 touchdowns. He left Alabama. Only being the 2-year starter, he left Alabama being the all-time leader in rushing yards, touchdowns, scrimmage, everything for a running back. He is the best Alabama running back of all time, on the stat-wise at least. Stat-wise, he's number 1 in almost every category. And he did this only doing 2-year starter and being the 4th and 3rd. So when people say, well, running backs aren't worth it in the first round anymore, he is. This guy is, in my opinion, way better than Josh Jacobs right now, because this guy can do it all. He can run, he can catch, and the most important thing, I know Devontae Williams, Travis Etienne, like everybody loves the speed and the flashiness. Najee Harris is never going to win anybody over, a race. However, the one thing he can do, he can play football. He's a better pass protector than the other two combined. I know what you're thinking. Well, why do I need a running back to pass? Trust me, you're going to need him to chip or something. And Etienne and Devontae Williams are not those dudes. At least in my opinion. They're not that dude. Great running backs, but I don't think you want to just take a running back just because of his running ability. If you're going to take a running back in the first, you want him to do everything. And I think Najee Harris is the best choice for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. You can't get worse, Pittsburgh fans. I know I'm already getting it. Why take a running back in the first? Pittsburgh fans are already on my case. Why running back in the first? Because how much worse can you get? You want to go 32 again? It's going to be the same results. Same results. Might be even worse now that the offense is going to take a little bit of a dip. So you might as well try to keep it balanced with at least a solid running back. So I say Najee Harris at 24 would make a perfect sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just get a running back. The worst that can happen is, hey, you're stuck at 32. You can only go up from here, man. So I'm going to go Najee Harris here at 24. And lastly, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I already did their video for the first one for this season, so we're not going to get into much detail on them. Just remember that Jacksonville got this pick due to the Jalen Ramsey trade to the Rams. So this is the Rams pick, but this is the Jacksonville's pick due to the Jalen Ramsey trade. So look, we all know what Jacksonville's going to do. Number one, Trevor Lawrence can say what he wants. Like, I hope to be part of your community soon. No, you could have already said, I'm glad to be part of your community, because that's where you're going. The reason you're not going to the draft, the reason he's not going to the draft, guys, is because he already knows what he's going to do. Why does he want to waste all that time? Just be with his family, enjoy the time with your loved ones. The other guys I can understand, because you don't know where you're going to go and you want to kind of like be there for the moment. For Trevor Lawrence, is like, we already know where you're going, dude, so don't even worry about it. You're fine. But again, this is a situation for the Jacksonville Jaguars that's going to be very interesting when it gets to draft day, when it gets to next Thursday. It's going to be one of those things where, is it BPA? Do you go for need here? Excuse me. Do you go for need here? I don't know. At this point in the draft, it's just a crapshoot. All the picks are crapshoots, but once you get to this point, it's really a crapshoot for everybody. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's really, what do you want to do? You can always get a wide receiver. That's good. But you already kind of have a couple good ones. You could get a running back, but you already got James Robinson at a way cheaper price. Unless you want a 1-2 punch combo. Or, for me, it's a no-brainer. Jacksonville has to do everything for Trevor Lawrence, and that is starting with the offensive line. You already got Cam Robinson at the left, and you already got Jawan Taylor at the right. So why not add another piece? Might as well try to make it as easy for him, because remember, Jacksonville is not a team that's going to draft this kid, and who knows? It's like, we're in the playoffs. I don't think it usually works that way. It happens sometimes, not all the time. So for me, I think it's offensive lineman here. So for me, with the 25th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Now, I get it. I just mentioned you have Cam Robinson at the left, and then you have Jawan Taylor at the right. Why do you want to draft another offensive lineman? Because he can do both. He could play tackle and he could play guard. I think right now you just bringing him to camp. And right now there's really not another offensive lineman out there where you can look at and be like, well, maybe this guy, maybe that guy. Who knows? But I think for now, you already got your two solid bookends. You might as well try to get your guard and try to plug him in somewhere. And look, this guy, he knows what he's doing. Two-time national champ, 2017, 2020, Outland Trophy Award, the Jacobs Blocking Trophy Award, unanimous All-American in 2020, two-time first-team All-SEC in 2019, 2020, and second-team All-SEC in 2018. So this guy can play. This guy can play today. I just think right now, you put him at guard, you try him out at tackle due to injuries, and look, he's flexible. You play outside, you can play inside. It doesn't matter. Right now, what you want to do is try to give Trevor Lawrence a chance to try to show that he can be the franchise quarterback. So that's my take, though. Because remember, it always starts in the trenches. As long as your guys are winning the trenches, then you guys are winning the battle. So hence why Jacksonville needs to win in these trenches to at least, if you're going to draft a Trevor Lawrence and you're going to try to see what he has, at least don't be one of those franchises that never build anything around him. Start with the line. So for me, I say Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle from Alabama, would be a great pick here. So that'll do it. Tomorrow we have the Cleveland Browns are now on the clock. I am excited to talk about them because they are a franchise that looks like on the up and up. There's a couple things that they have to work on, but they're an exciting franchise and everything looks good. But sorry about that. That was the front door. But other than that, everything looked amazing. I want to thank everybody again for the wonderful, wonderful birthday wishes. It is, I was truly blessed to have an amazing 30th birthday party. It was amazing. I want to thank everybody for, all the beautiful wishes. I want to thank everybody for people that came out. I want to thank everybody for that wished me well. And again, I do apologize. It was just one of those things where it's like, you know what? We'll catch up on Monday. We'll be fine. But overall, just a great experience. And like I said, what I'm trying to do is we are finishing up Wednesday or Monday. We're finishing up next Monday. Next Monday is the Buccaneers, so that we only got one more week of this whole mock draft. Tuesday will be the final one. But what I'm trying to do is I want to try to get people that actually have the knowledge of the whole draft. I'm going to try to find 4 people, and we're going to try to see if we can get them on here, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And hopefully, we do accomplish that because I do have a little surprise for you guys. But again, I need to find 4 solid people. So if anybody out there knows people that love mock drafts, I would love to hear them. So, like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this draft. Tomorrow it is the Cleveland Browns. Like I said, if you know anybody that loves mock drafts, send them my way. They can either message me if you guys follow here on the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. On Facebook, it's called the All Sports Talk Facebook page. On Instagram, it's the same thing. It's all the same. So I'm going to try to find people. If you guys can help me out as well, please like and subscribe, share it with your family, share it with your loved ones. I would truly appreciate it. So again, I want to thank everybody for the wonderful birthday wishes. I had fun. I am enjoying my time here in lovely Nevada. The draft is 1 week away, guys. I am excited. I know you guys are excited. I want to thank everybody that commented. I want to thank everybody that liked it. But again, please like and subscribe. And again, have fun. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Cleveland Browns. Everybody have a beautiful night.